How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good.
Here in Germany, there's like a big discussion about how artists can be supported in the whole Corona situation. How is this in the US? Do you get any support?
I never had any support ever, so I'm used to it.
Okay.
I'm used to being a musician. You have to be kind of wily about everything. If you make a lot of money, you got to tuck it away. You don't go and buy a Mercedes Benz,
Yeah.
because you might need to sleep in the Mercedes Benz someday. Like you keep your money. You don't get extravagant if you can help it. That's how I'm always prepared for the worst. And I've also been doing shows online, and I've been making money that way and stuff. And we also have publishing money and stuff. So I'm fortunate that we've had some hits on the radio and things like that help out.
Okay.
But most musicians don't have anything, and some of them aren't going to be able. I don't know what people are going to do. Not just musicians, they're people that own businesses, restaurants, all kinds of things that I don't know what they're going to do. But as a musician, I've always survived by just preparing for the worst. Be like, you get it where you can, and you just try to keep on going.
So there's that format Tuesday with Miles that you're running at the moment on Facebook.
Yeah, it helps. Definitely helps. That helps. And then I've thought about doing other things. But as I've said, I've been fortunate with being able to, we've had some hit songs and things that we still make money off of that. And I bought a house a long time ago. So I try to keep my overhead as low as possible. There's all those things combined. Who knows? I don't know how long this will go on for. And then if people don't have businesses collapse and people don't have money to spend on entertainment, what does that mean for the entertainer?
Yeah.
It's things are tough all over, as they say.
You make music for 30 years or something. If you were like an up and coming musician these days, obviously it's much harder to earn money now than maybe like 20 years ago. If you were on a small budget, how would you invest it?
I think in some ways musicians have it easier. Like when I was coming up, you had to go out and play and eventually get yourself to Los Angeles or New York or somehow get noticed and get a record deal. And then if you got a record deal, you could hopefully put out the record and hopefully people would want to buy it, or you could make another record. But musicians, you could make a record in your bedroom and then you can put it up and it'll be all over the world that night. So really it's more a question of being noticed and getting people to pay attention. But you don't need a record company. You don't need any of that. And you can make records really cheap. I mean, the Nas X song costs like $20 or something, or $100. I don't know. Like that wouldn't even pay for an hour in a studio back when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Studios they used to cost $1,200 a day, $2,000 a day. So
Okay.
the idea that you just open up your laptop, turn on, a music program and put your ideas down, you can mix it yourself and then you distribute it yourself. All of that's amazing. So it's just a different world. I don't necessarily think it's harder or easier. It's just different is what I would say.
Yeah. At the same time, like the competition is growing.
Right. There's a low barrier to entry, as they say.
Yeah.
So anyone can do it. Whereas before, you had to have a band. There were hurdles to get over. Now those hurdles are gone. But there's still amazing artists coming out. I mean, I do think Billie Eilish is amazing.
Yeah.
And her and her brother do it all in their bedroom. It's crazy. So again, I just think it's a different kind of world than it was before. And the idea of going into a professional big time studio and spending a bunch of money seems pretty ridiculous now, now that you have all this stuff. But for people like me, that's what you're used to, is going into a real studio with real engineers who know what they're doing. And I mean, that's the way I've always made records. I'm not a very good engineer myself. When I record, I don't know what I'm doing.
I mean, when you're going into the studio, I heard you said somewhere that Step Into Light took like 13 days or so. Does it?
Oh yeah.
Did it include like songwriting and lyrics and all this stuff in 13 days?
No, songs take a while.
Okay.
Songs come when they're good and ready. You know, they take their time. Sometimes it doesn't usually pay to try to force a song out, but you have to sit there every day and hope that you can get it. You know, and some songs come real quick. You can write them in. You know, I Go South in like 20 minutes. But other songs take days, weeks, years. Sometimes a song refuses to get in the boat and you'll never get it, you know.
Yeah.
I've had songs, I still have songs that I've been working on forever, and you work on them and then you're like, God, it's not gonna happen. I don't know. I don't want to play it, I don't want to sing it, so what good is it?
I mean, Tony and you're working on your songs like independently, right? Doesn't it like help if you show him your song and he's got some idea or something? Or is it like strictly that you're working on?
Usually he'll come up with those ideas on the fly, you know, like while we're in the studio. Tony's really good at coming up with little melodic keyboard parts and things like that. Other times I'll just work every little part of it out in advance because I'm inspired, and vice versa. You know, sometimes I'll come up with ideas for his songs. A lot of times I'm doing the guitars and he'll leave room so there's no guitar part per se, and then I'll have to figure out the guitar part. But we used to have to do it all. We used to have to get together and do it in a room because all we had were 4 tracks, and it was a lot harder. Now, you know, I've got this Logic program. It's got 16, 20 different drummers on there that you can do whatever you want. And then it's got all these loops. And then if you don't like any of that, you can go to, you can get on the internet and find yet another thing where you can download loops and stuff. So there's a million different ways to get the drums down. And they're usually drum parts you would never think of yourself that inspire you to go somewhere new. So it's pretty crazy. It's pretty great. We used to just be the 3 of us, and you're stuck with each other and whatever you can come up with. Now there's all these other sources of inspiration. So
yeah, I remember the 4-track Tascam or Fostex machines that really suck.
That's what I used. Yeah, I had a Tascam. I found a song on there. I was really excited. There was a cassette in there. When I played it, there was a whole song I'd completely forgotten about. So you might hear that one someday.
Okay.
See, it was sitting there just waiting to be discovered.
When you went to the studio with your first albums, how many tracks did you have? Like 16 or something? Did you record it on tape?
Yeah, that was back in the day of tape. And so you couldn't, if you erased something, it was gone forever. It wasn't like now where you can try a million different ideas and then I like this one or I like that one, and you could just paste them. Back then, you had to decide, okay, that was good. Do you want to try it again? If you're going to try it again, we might have to erase it.
Yeah.
Although if you had enough tracks, like if you had a 24-track board, you could get another track for the guitar, and you could leave the track you did and try it again on that track. But it was just a little more hard. Things were way more permanent. You couldn't change your mind so much, but maybe that was good. You had to just commit to the idea.
Okay, so my intention doing the interview with you was like, I make music myself a little bit, and I think it's really interesting if you know what bands, your favorite bands like. Can you tell me what your favorite bands are?
I really like The Cure a lot. I like the way he writes songs, and I like all the way he uses all the instruments and the guitars. There's a lot of really cool guitar parts. I also, believe it or not, love Depeche Mode a lot. Obviously, I love the Beatles and Van Morrison, but then I really listen to a lot of jazz. I love Thelonious Monk. I love Miles Davis. I love John Coltrane. I love Ornette Coleman. I love Charles Mingus a lot. I love all the dissonance. I love all the extensions in the chords, all those things. I also like there's no vocals. It makes things different. It makes it, your focus isn't on the words. It's on the interplay. I love, classical music too. So it just depends on the day and how I'm feeling. Probably the biggest influences on me have been the Beatles, and then later jazz music, just the chords and the mood and stuff. I love that kind of thing, and I've gotten really into it. Also, I should mention I do like also the Strokes a lot. I like Van Halen. I like Iggy Pop. I like I like Post Malone. I like Billie Eilish. I like, just there's so much great music over the years. There's so much music I haven't even checked out yet that I've been meaning to. Like, you should stop listening to everything else and just start listening to this, you know. But I haven't done that.
I mean, obviously, it's like a journey discovering new artists. Do you think it changed your songwriting over the years? I somewhere read you even went to Nashville to improve your songwriting.
That's true. That helped a lot. Well, I went there to try to write country songs, like for country artists to sing. And that didn't really work. But what did happen was I met a lot of really good songwriters. And I realized that a song shouldn't have to take, shouldn't have to take 6 weeks to finish or 6 months to finish. You can finish it right then and there, and you should if you can. I got used to collaborating with people, and it just helped me. I became far less precious about songwriting. Like, oh, I got to wait for the muse, and just think of like, just get it done. Yeah. Go get it done. You can always write another one. If that one isn't as good as you wanted, write another one, or take the bridge from that one and the chorus from this one, and you've got a song. So I learned how to get in there and get it done, and it was a good experience, even though it wasn't what I went there to do per se, but it worked out. It helped my songwriting a lot, I think.
Did you fight with what a tempo you should use for a song? Because that was one thing when I recorded my first album. Afterwards, I was like, oh no, this song should have been faster, or this. Is it sometimes tough for you to determine that?
Why don't you think of yourself more like a painter and do several versions of the same song? That's a good way to do it. Instead of just doing one at 120 beats per minute, do one at 120, do one at 90, do one at 130, and maybe try one as a waltz. Just try different things. I mean, what else are you gonna do all day? You gotta, give the song its due. Let it, if I often will re-record. It's often like the third or fourth time that the song really comes to life. I'll do a recording of it, and then I might change the key, or maybe I'll just hate the recording and I'll go like, I'm gonna try this again another day. And then I find that the second or third time goes so much quicker because I already know I like this guitar part. I don't like this drum part. I like this. I like that. And then change a few things, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's there. It's happening.
When you look at the charts nowadays, there's always the top 10 songs are the same chord progressions and stuff like this. But then there are some artists like John Mayer or Joe Bonamassa who play a very traditional blues rocky music. How do you explain that they're successful with their music nowadays?
Oh, because there's room for all kinds of stuff. People like all kinds of stuff. There's always a niche, I feel like if you're really good at the bagpipes, you could probably have a career just playing the bagpipes. There's probably 7,000 or 8,000 people around the world that would want to buy those records and go see you. I mean, there's room for it. I don't think of John Mayer as like a blues artist at all. I mean, he's made like one blues record or something, Yeah. He's not. He's a great guitar player and all that, but it's not like he's dedicated himself to the blues. I'm not really familiar with Joe Bonamassa, but I guess, he's carved out his deal. Everybody's got their little deal, and there's plenty of room for it for everybody. So it's not a surprise to me. I think if you're dedicated, you can have a career in music. That's what I would say, but you got to be dedicated. So you can't fuck around. You can't be like kind of, or like, well, I kind of want to see a movie, or I kind of want to go do this, or this was the weekend we were supposed to go to the country. You got to throw all that away. You got to be dedicated like a slave to the music. And then you will see that your music career will start to go, but you have to be dedicated, a servant to it. I mean, it's never too late. It's never too late. You just have to decide what you want to do. It was never a question for me. It's always what I want to do the most, always, more than anything else. I didn't care what's going on. Like if I could play a show, that's what I want to do. For real. Okay. Oh, you're going to miss Christmas. I don't care. Oh, you're going to miss this. You're going to miss that. I don't care. Can I play rock and roll? That's what I want to do.
That's cool. Do you remember how old you were when you took the decision to really be a musician?
I was probably I didn't really become a musician until I was 21. I knew that that's what I wanted to do since I was 13. Since I was I learned how to play guitar when I was 11 years old. I knew I wanted to be a rock and roll musician from that age on. So there was never any question in my mind. I didn't actually start to make money at it or become what I would call a professional till I was 21. Like a professional makes money, and a professional also shows up and does the gig. He's on time, does the gig, breaks a string. He's able to keep going, change the string. You got to be a professional, you know. You don't show up late. You don't not finish the show. You don't So I became a professional, I guess, when I was 21. That started me on the road, and then I didn't become successful until I was 31. It was 10 years, you know.
Okay, I watched also the video where you did the interview with Steve Berlin and the other guys from the band, and where you said that you let the producer choose the songs for the Art Machine.
Right.
Did his choice surprise you, or was it like, okay, that's a natural decision?
Well, he picked a bunch of my songs, so of course I was very happy with his with his choices. I didn't think it didn't surprise me. I thought he made the right choice. I thought the songs were really strong, and those were the obvious ones that should be on the record.
Are you writing on new material now?
I'm trying to. I've written a couple of really good songs this summer, and I'm trying to start again. Sometimes you get into the groove and the songs just come, and other times it's just torture.
Yeah.
I mean, believe me, there's days where I sit there and just go, I have no talent. This is bullshit. What am I doing? I should just go do something else. You know, I know all that's not true. I've made a career of this, so I know I have talent and I know I can write songs. But there are definitely days where you get discouraged and you just feel like, what is the point?
Yeah.
So that's just all part of it. It's all part of the ride.
So I mean, a couple of your songs on the last album were a little dissonant, you know, like Redeemed with the.
Yeah.
Is it because of inspired you the political situation or the world as it is now?
You would think that, but I wrote that song when Obama was still president. I didn't write it about Obama. I just felt like the song just came out of me. I was thinking about a devious person who'd finally run out of tricks, or who was going to get caught. And now it's perfect, right? Like it's a perfect song now for all these evil fuckers in the United States. To me, you know, it's a perfect song, but I didn't write it about them. I wasn't thinking about them. So the subconscious is a funny thing. It was there in the back of my mind, and it came out, and now the timing is good, but I can't say I wrote it about it.
I hope you make a lot of more music, because really I love it. You saved me from a really bad heartbreak 7 years ago. I listened to.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's true.
What songs save you? I'm curious.
What was it? Till I Get It Right? That's probably my favorite song.
Yeah. Oh, good. That's one of my favorite songs. Well, let me tell you, that's ultimately the reason you make music for. I didn't make music just to make a living. I make music to help other people, to make people feel good.
Okay.
That's the reason I do it. That's the reason I love listening to music. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel better. It makes me feel happier if I'm sad. And if I want to have a good time, music is there to make me have an even better time. And so it's a musician's job, you know, to pass it on, to make people feel good. That's so it makes me happy when I hear those stories.
All right. So have a nice day.
Okay.
And,
I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.